Well, my name is Mateen, Dr. Mateen. I'm a physician and a surgeon. I run several hospitals. Um, I'm a father to 5 children, 4 girls, 1 boy. My wife is a doctor too, and I've been living in Bangalore for the last 50 years. So I grew up here. I've had experience living in North India, in Chandigarh, in Bombay, in the US, trained there, educated there, but I'm back in my own Bangalore. Um, it's been a while, so I'm very, very local, especially to Koramangala and to this part of South Bangalore. I'm very, very familiar for the last 50 years. Well, ILM happened, we actually started in 2013, but the idea has been cooking through several, what do you say, several years before that. We've had these study circles, discussion sessions on visualizing a much better world for the future. A future where you have politicians who are more sincere and work for the country and for the masses and for the people in general. You have doctors who really serve people, then look at the financial picture alone. You have a world of compassion, a world of empathy, where old people are respected, taken care of, where the underprivileged, where the handicapped, these people, you hold out a hand. You know that typical running race of handicapped children, where one child falls, and then the other kids forget about the race and go and hold him, and all of them walk to the finish line. It's so beautiful. I mean, if we can create a world like that, where it's not just on how much package you make, it's not just on how many 100% scores you score, but do you have a child who is grateful? Do you have a child who is courageous? Do you have a child who will be truthful no matter what? Whether you give him a post-retirement position as member of parliament or a post-retirement position as a governor of a state, he couldn't care. He would dispense justice the way it should be, regardless of consequences. So that's the basic understanding of morality. It's a different world from the measured, rational world where you measure time, space, and money, and your outlook to the world is that monochromatic view, I should say, where only these are your values. Does it save time, efficiency, space, money, is all that you care for. But there are many other things. Love, for example, courage, for example, honesty, for example, service, for example, compassion, forgiveness. I mean, if you look at it logically, you don't get it. So that's the duality of life that we need to understand. So it's a small step towards nation building that we are looking at as a group of friends and said, hey, let's do something for this nation, for this country. So that we look at it's like planting an oak, seedling, So it takes 50 years for impact. I mean, these kids are going to grow in which we believe it's to be with a different set of values. So we need teachers who are like that. We need parents who are interested in that kind of a world, which has a duality of outlook, where moral values are real values. You can actually weigh them. And most of the time, they far outweigh values of money, values of time, and values of space, square foot. That measurement is not the only outlook to life. We need to be better. It's with that thought in mind, we thought we should do something. For us, this is our contribution, our charity, our service to humanity and our service to this nation. Well, the concept itself a little eclectic, a little out of the thoda sa hatke type of outlook to life, because through the movie world, the advertisement world, and a very irreligious world, scientific order, we have everybody, every school says our children get placement for so many lakhs. That's the only value that you look at and how you assess a school.
So if you go against that trend and say a human life is much more than money, a human life is much more than a large house. I mean, to love somebody, you sacrifice. You don't put conditions to love. Love is never to say sorry to anybody, never to say thank you to anybody. I mean, it goes without saying. So these kinds of concepts are hard to sell these days. Nobody wants to marry a good man, because a good man today is a man with a six-figure salary. So the definition of good, nobody wants to marry a compassionate, honest, humble, woman, caring woman. You want a woman who is, this shape, this figure, this weight, and making money, and with a degree. Well, you can say you get the right color and the right height, and many people we know suffer the rest of their lives. So it's not easy to sell this particular concept, but the world is full of them also at the moment. They want it, but they don't know how to do it. And there's nobody actually who is doing it also. So although it's been a small experiment, it's an expensive experiment for us, but the results have been very exciting. I mean, you should speak to the parents. You should speak to our old children who have passed out from here. It's been a very, very exciting journey. Kids have done very, very well. And obviously, the teaching methodology also, the Montessori method of teaching, wherein it's an experiential learning through common, experiences of life, because the real world is not classified into first standard, second standard, and third standard. Everybody is living on the same planet, in the same space. There are elders, there are youngsters. So creating that natural environment for kids, and looking at how they behave and how they conduct and how they do their experiments and how the mind of a child is so creative and so fantastic, has been a very, very beautiful journey, and kids have done really well. And the parents have been very happy. My God, I mean, they're so supportive. There was a time, when there were a lot of challenges, and when we even considered closing down. I said, absolutely not. The parents came and stood like a wall for us and said, you're not doing this. We want ILM. And that was the kind of response we got. So it's been nice. The journey's been very exciting. A lot of future plans with this experience. We want to go forward, build a much larger school so that the impact is much greater. We're not looking at large numbers. We're looking at good quality numbers. It's not just in numbers. I mean, that's not the game. The game is, are you able to deliver what you want to give? And if you can, you need to slowly expand in a way that we want to, each one of these kids should grow like an oak tree, become the shade for so many other 100 people, become the source for oxygen and taking away all the carbon dioxide in this world, leaving a lesser carbon footprint in this world. So we obviously want to expand this kind of a thing, not because big is beautiful, not because it'll give you money or that. That's not the point at all, because we're not looking at that, never looked at that, and we're not looking at it. We are looking at the impact we can create for the future, which hopefully should add to our earnings of a non-financial nature that we deeply believe in. I do want to tell them that you need to look at the far future for your children. You want children who respect parents. You want boys who are loving and compassionate to their women and who understand. And women who understand, the responsibilities of family and parents and children and husbands and the whole thing. So life is not just about scoring marks. It's not just about performing in maths and science and language. It's not just about creativity also. There's a lot of emotional component to life, where you see today, without the emotional component, the most brilliant people become schizophrenic. They're going into drugs and alcohol and all kinds of things. They get road rage, they get angry, they're not in emotional control, they're not patient, they live life like they're in a dream world. like life is going to be happily married ever after. It's nobody's story. Nobody is happily ever married ever after. The real challenges start there. And so preparing for the unexpected, preparing for a life of adventure with twists and turns that you never expected, that you never expected. So you made him a doctor, you made him an engineer. But आपके क्या काम आया ना नेशन के काम आया नेशन को भी बेच दिया you know didn't went off, said bye bye. That's not the kid you want. So think large, think wholesome, think holistic. Think about what kind of kid you want in a wholesome way for the future, and make your decisions based on that. Is this school the right one for you? It's not just games. It's not just getting marks. It's not just passing in a competitive exam. It's a whole deal. So I think ILM, our teachers, our trustees, our principal have abundant experience in this, and they expect to do a very good job helming your children actually into shapes and sizes that you really want to look for in the future. So therefore, ILM is a great choice if you're living anywhere close by. I really don't want children to come from very, very, very far to this place. Anybody in the 5 kilometer radius from this Kormangla first block, it's a great choice. You should seriously consider this, and I think it'll make a difference to your child in a wholesome way, not in just one dimension of life. We need to be multidimensional. Well, I really hope and pray that our nation becomes a better nation in the next coming decades. We need to change. We need to uproot hunger. We need to uproot corruption. We need to uproot oppression and inequality that we see in this world. To visualize that future and to create those future citizens is a great responsibility on all of us. And I hope that we really realize that and forget our school. I think more such value-based schools, more holistic education schools which are multidimensional and not monochromatic in outlook should be created. If you want to build a great nation, build a nation of ILMs, build a nation of these kind of holistic schools. And it's a passion. Whether I do it or you do it, I hope a lot of people take this up in their own respective places, so that we see a better world for tomorrow. Thank you. Inspiring lives with meaning or meaningfulness.